Everybody talks about property tax relief, and I know you both mentioned it in your campaigns. I think the voters are interested in some specifics here. What or how would you lower property taxes in La Crosse, or alternatively increase non-tax revenues? So it's kind of a property tax lowering question.
Mr. Harter, we'll start with you.
Property taxes are too high in the city of La Crosse. If I'm elected mayor, I will implement a spending freeze. This will lower property taxes down the line when we see more development, when we get more property out there on the tax roll. The property tax burden will lessen on individuals. Through the past 4 years, we've seen our property taxes rise 58%. We've grown from a $21.4 million budget, tax levy on that budget, to a $33.9 million levy. We cannot continue at that rate. We've got to slow down the tax burden on the people. We've got to start transferring funds from the TIF districts back into the general fund. We've got to close out our TIF districts once they retire and stop transferring that money over into new TIF districts. Right now, we've got to look at the overall health of our TIF capacity inside the city of La Crosse. We're at 6.39% of our overall gross value of property is in TIF districts. We have over 50% non-taxable property in the city of La Crosse. The state regulates a 12% cap. Well, if we look at only 50% being out there on the tax rolls, that 50% that is over the cap. So we've got to look at our overall health of the tax districts in the city of La Crosse, because we cannot continue to send money into new TIF districts, all the while people are being forced out of their homes. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Lenard.
Well, a very small rebuttal. I just want to say, Mr. Harter mentioned the mayor, he, and I'm thinking it's a possibility it might be a mayor, she. So I'm just going to throw that out to everyone.
I can see that.
It's a possibility. So, and again, Matt and I have certainly both been talking a lot about taxes. It is the #1 issue. When I did 1,200 doors to win my council seat, 1,200 people told me that the taxes were too high 4 years ago. And I have been trying to work as much as possible within the current mayor and the council to see what we can do about that. 51% of our properties are tax exempt, and we have to look at new and creative ideas on how to solve that. There's some things we can do with efficiency at City Hall. We can do budgets and stuff like that, but that won't make a major change in the tax bill, quite frankly. We got to look at other and new ideas. One of them that I've been talking about a lot is a countywide assessment. That's a possibility, making sure that the assessments are fair and across the board throughout the county. Unfortunately, city property taxpayers pay the unfair shared burden of having the beautiful city of La Crosse that we do. You know, we have the hospitals, we have the universities, we have city and county government here along with a lot of the churches. So we do have those tax exempt properties to worry about when we're trying to do tax relief. The other options that I've looked at, and again, this would be something we would get together and decide as a community, are user fees possibly for the nonprofits, just so that they're paying their fair share cost of what the taxpayer is now paying for them, quite frankly. I think that's an unfair share burden on our taxpayers. The other one is sales tax, possibly a 0.5% would give us a base that would be coming in from a lot of the people who come in from outside the city and would pay that tax and help us as property tax owners not have to pay for everything. TIF incentives, I absolutely believe that the TIF incentives we've had are working very well. We have $48 million worth of growth down by the river, just in the new developments that we just approved last week. That will bring $1.3 million into our property tax assessment.
Yes, 30 seconds for a vote.
My opponent just stated that property tax issues are the #1 priority in the city of La Crosse, and 4 years ago when she campaigned for a council district, she was told that. Well, the #1 decision that our council members make are approving finances for the city of La Crosse. Over the past 4 years, the council member approved all 4 of those budgets that were proposed. Those budgets determine what the tax levy on each individual taxpayer would be. I question her approval if she certainly has intentions to lower the tax burden on individuals, why she approved all 4 of those budgets.
Would you like to counter?
Yes, I would. Mr. Harter also keeps using the figure of 58% the taxes have gone up. I don't understand where he gets that. But we actually go up each year in the budget. We have the last 4 years, 2 to 3%, and that's the state cap. that's something that I'm hoping that another thing that we can do is outreach with the state to see if we can change how the taxes are given over the state. The mayor actually has control over the budget. It is the mayor's executive budget. One of the reasons I ran for mayor is so that I could get more involved with the budget. Council members, quite frankly, don't have much participation in that.
Thank you. Next question is one from the audience. What experience do you have preparing and managing